and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I am here to host our monthly Patreon personal healing event. So this is the personal healing event for October for some of my Temple of Balance patrons. So today we have 5 people on the list, and I'll be connecting with those 5 people individually for around 10 minutes each. I'll be connecting with you and seeing what's loudest in your vibration, and talking through whatever comes up, and going from there, I suppose. Yeah. It's pouring, absolutely pouring with rain, and it's wildly windy. So I thought I would set up inside today instead of in my art studio, because it's just, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy weather. So I'm here with my bamboo tree, a little wizard looking on. And I'm really looking forward to connecting today. So I trust that you're well. So I will be using my healing energy cards with each connection. So when I pull, I've got a little bag here where I've got my 5 people's names on a little piece of paper. So when I pull your name out, I will pull you a healing energy card. Then I'll tune in to your energy and see what's going on and what's loudest there, and I'll talk through whatever comes up, and then I'll pull another healing energy card to go. If you are one of the people on my list and you're waiting for your name to be pulled, then please be open to receiving something also that you might need in other people's guidance today. Angie, good morning, lovely to see you. And also, if you're watching and you're not on the healing list today, or part of this event, hi Tash, wish I could stay, but I'm expecting a work call. Well, it's nice to see you no matter how long you can stay. Thanks, Tash. Yeah, if you're not on the healing list today, then I also trust that you've been led here for a reason. What I would be doing if I was waiting for my name to be pulled, or if I wasn't on the list, or wasn't coming up today, I'd trust that I'm here for a reason. And then I'd be open to really listening and feeling on what is being said and what is being shared and how that sits in my body. So I'd be listening not only with my ears but with my heart, and also with my body, to see what stands out for me. And I'd have my journal handy, and I'd be making notes of the things that stand out. Also the things that I might immediately want to reject. I would also be noticing those things too, because I want to explore things that I might be sort of immediately rejecting or immediately overreacting to. I want to sit with that and see, what is the truth for me in this situation. So that's what I'd be doing. Now, if you are on the list and I am connecting with you, and it is your name that I'm connecting with at the time, then please be super open to receiving what you need. And I trust that something shared that comes up supports you at this time. As always, no matter who you are and where your connection may or may not be today, please take on board what feels right, what resonates, and what fits into your life easily at this time, in this moment, and just let the rest go. And just think of this as a guide only. So, let's see. First person on my list. I got this new bag the other day. This local lady makes them. I love it. So I'm sort of eager to use it. So I have the first person today is KantiDevi. KantiDevi, take a nice big breath. And let's see which healing energy card you need today. So, nice big breath, Kanti. Wow, that's weird. This card fell into my new bag, which I'm just taking note of. 105 disintegration. Things falling apart so they can come back together again in a new way. But I'm looking for your best card, Kanti. So Kanti, the best card for you for this moment is this here. It's this. Card 107. So it was 108. I'm pretty sure the one that fell But 107, it's winter's hibernation. It's in the rest category. And down here it says body at rest. Relax, heal, mend, switch off, take a break, slow moving, replenish your body, dormant, cave, seeds, waiting, cycles, and patience. So there is a slowing down feeling with this card. Let's tune in, Kanti, and see what's going on in your energy today. So nice big breath. Okay, I feel an energy that's sitting here in your belly. So it feels in your womb, in your belly, in your sacral chakra. So your sacral chakra is just below your navel, and it's your center for emotional, sexual, and creative energies. So I'm being drawn down here, and it feels like there's something growing, there's something brewing, there's something moving, but growing is definitely the best word. It feels the best for what I'm feeling here. It feels something that's growing across, so something that's growing wide, and it feels like the base of a plant, or what I'm feeling actually like a lily pad sort of feeling here. So it feels really green, it feels like it's sitting in water, and it feels like it's growing, and it feels like it grows across. So it feels like a lily pad is the best thing I can think of that best describes what I'm feeling. And it's growing across, so like across the water. So the waters of your emotions that are sitting down here in your sacral chakra, and this lily pad growing across here. So it's a beautiful green. It feels very grounding and very much full of growth in here. So the lily pad feels like it's growing in really nice waters, the waters of your womb, the waters of your belly, the waters, the emotions of who you are. And it feels quite nice down here. I mean, I can't recall recently anyway, connecting in with the sacral chakra that has energy and water that sits in, watery energy that sits in here that feels nice and pure, because usually this is where we tend to bottle up our horrible, not so nice, or the emotions that are very intense for us. We tend to bottle down in this area. So usually I'm dealing with quite rancid, toxic energy that's sort of bottled up in the sacral chakra. So it feels like this beautiful crystal clear pond, this little pond, and it's got this lily pad growing on top. So the waters in here feel clear. They feel clear and pure, reminding me of the waters from the mountain, the cool, the melting snow, and the beautiful spring waters that come down from the mountain. They pass through the waterfalls, and it's like come to sit in this little pool of water, this little pool or pond sitting in here beautifully. So emotionally it feels really nice in here, and this is something I find actually quite inspiring to tap into, is this pure, crystalline, beautiful, watery energy, emotional energy that's here in your belly, Kanti. So emotionally, but also creatively as well, this creative energy that's sitting in here. It's not sitting stale and stagnant. It feels like it's being replenished, almost like it's sitting under or over a natural spring. So it feels like it has aeration, it feels clear, and it feels pure. So this lily pad almost takes up the whole surface of this little pool or this little pond, and it feels green and beautiful and lush, very grounded, but very much growing. So it might not be growing up, but it is growing across this pool or this pond, this emotional, creative energy that you've got springing up inside you. It's like springing up, springing up inside. So sitting on this lily pad is this frog, and we know frogs only come to environments and places that are good. The frog will not come to a rancid area. It will go to frogs are usually a great sign of a balance in the sort of ecosystem or the environment there. And this is what I'm feeling this frog is representing. So also, Kanti, you could look up frog power animal online and see what other general information you get about the frog. But I feel the frog is also a representation of this nice, clear, pure sort of zone you've got down here. So this is a really beautiful place for you to tap into. The pool itself of water feels fairly deep. It feels kind of narrow and deep, like a tall, narrow, I guess, narrowish vessel. So it feels quite deep, and deep waters that you're being able to tap into. And then I feel like we actually need to dive into these waters. So I feel like I'm a bit like the frog, jumping off the side of the lily pad and diving down into the waters, and diving down all the way down deep into the bottom of this pond. And in the bottom of this pond, it seems to be made of crystal points that are all pointing up and out and into the water, but also feel like these are keeping things charged up, keeping things clear and we could say positive or supportive or healthy in this area for you. So the crystals are charging up as well as this sort of spring energy that seems to be bubbling up from underneath as well. These feel like depths, like deep parts of yourself that are coming up to the surface, like springing up and bubbling up. So these might show up as inspirations, ideas, things that you feel passionate or really drawn to, that help fulfill you and help you feel fulfilled within yourself, and especially emotionally and creatively. So there's a lot bubbling up here, and I feel like this is so drawing my attention. There's nothing else that I'm noticing at the moment, because this little landscape, this little waterscape in here, it feels so beautiful. It feels like such a beautiful place to sort of sit in and be and explore. So those of you who aren't Kanti, I trust that you're also feeling this beautiful energy that Kanti has down here, that is coming through, that's being shared with us, because it feels very inspiring and a really beautiful place to sit in. And it shows us, Kanti, it demonstrates to us all what healthy emotions and healthy creativity feel and potentially look like. You know, that we can clear out and move out the toxicity, and we can stop the habit of bottling up our emotions and allow that sort of inner spring to activate, that inner spring to emerge, that inner spring to reveal itself, that keeps replenishing and keeping our inner waters, our inner emotions, our inner creativity healthy and moving. It feels beautiful. I trust that resonates, Kanti. Let's see what we want to add here with a healing energy card. So the best card to add, whoopsie, is, feels nice. What a nice way to start. Okay, Kanti, your best card for moving on from here, and also just to tie this up, is this. Self-searching, card 6. It's in the neutral category, so it's in the center. And down here it says, don't look too far outside of yourself for answers. Look within. Stand in your power. Believe in yourself. Trust in your inner guidance and express your truth. And I've just realized these crystal points here, which is what I felt at the very bottom of this vessel, your womb, your sacral chakra, this emotional, creative place of yours. So absolutely validating this. I think I'm going. Excuse me. So this is also reminding you to, moving forward, not to look outside of yourself, but actually this source, this water source, we could say, this beautiful source of spring water and what it represents, this is coming from inside you. This is not some river, waterfall out there, or some person or something that's out external from you. This is very much an internal thing, and that is what this card is about. It's about looking inside. So if you find yourself lately, Kanti, looking outside of yourself for inspiration, for movement, for whatever it is that you're looking for outside of yourself, see if you can turn that, put a mirror up and turn it inward, because you have all of the answers. You have all of the things that you can access inside you. It's bubbling, it's brewing up from within. So self-searching. Thank you, Kanti. Thank you for your support, and I trust this resonates with you. Namaste. Excuse me for sniffling. Okay, let's grab next person out of here. Next person to connect with is this person. It's Carol. Carol White. Carol, take a nice big breath. And let's see which healing energy card you need today. Okay, so the best healing energy card for you, Carol. Oops. Actually, let's just shuffle a little bit more. Okay, the best card for you is this one. Here. It's card 24, Spiral of Grace. So this is about lifting up above your fear, your challenges in life, and rising above the storm clouds or the stormy parts of your life at this time. So lifting out of fear, lifting out of your old wounds, turning fear into love, letting the past go, releasing your separation issues. This is almost an upgrade, a feeling of upliftment that wants to come in, and it is in the rise category here. So nice big breath for me, Carol. Okay, the first thing I see is a phoenix, and the phoenix is in flight. Well, actually, that might not be the best way to describe it. The phoenix is pushing up through the air. So its wings are fully outstretched and up, and it seems to be pushing up like a rocket, up from the ashes, up from the ground, up from band-aids here and there, and it feels like ground zero has been where you've been functioning or working for a while, and it feels like the phoenix has lifted you up out of that sort of war zone, the problematic, the challenging parts of your life that you've been dealing with in recent months is the feeling. So the phoenix has lifted you up out of the war zone and up into the air, so straight up like a rocket that's just propelling and rising up and up and up and soaring up. So the phoenix is a representation of rebirth, of new beginnings, of passion and breakthrough, of rising up from the ashes of your past and into the potential of what you can access in higher frequencies or higher levels, which is not dissimilar to the spiral of grace, actually, about lifting up out of the wheel of karma and where things seem to keep repeating themselves and up into the spiral of grace. So it's like an alternative path. Instead of going round and round in circles and things being triggered and things just sort of rolling around in the mud sort of thing, we're lifting up from that path up into a spiral of grace, a spiral path that is expanding and growing up and up as it moves and as it expands itself. And so it's a very similar feeling to this phoenix. And this phoenix feels very yellow, and the yellow taps straight into your solar plexus chakra, which is your power center. It's your center for strength, personal power, for courage, for your ability to sort of sit in and stand in your personal power, to rise yourself up instead of rolling around in the war zone and being, obviously impacted by it and pulled down by it. There is this feeling of like your core is really strong in here in your solar plexus. And there's a feeling of like a power that wants to come in here and holding the rest of you, especially your upper part of your body, upright, straight, and ready to sort of soar upwards. So this feeling of upward momentum and this feeling of strength is really strong for you, Carol. And I feel like it's already just crumbling away burdens that you've been carrying when you've been sort of functioning down in the war zone at ground zero. So that's all been crumbling. It's crumbling away, your burdens that you've carried from that, and you're lifting up and above. So what awaits you up here? What awaits you up here are blue skies, blue sunny skies. There's clearness here, and there feels to be no clutter. It feels clear, and it feels like there's space here to create new things and to welcome new things in without making it complicated. And I feel like there is something here that you're moving into, a time where you can actually start implementing some things and bringing some things into your workspace, into your home space, into your everyday life, that are things you couldn't access when you were at ground zero, because that's a survival mode. So in the war zone, on ground zero, when we're functioning in that way in our life, that is survival mode. So it can be very difficult to think or even care much about bringing, let's say, special things in, because we're just trying to survive. So when you're in survival mode, that's all our objective is. We've got to get through this. We've got to be able to survive. So as you've lifted up above that, and as this seems to have passed in some ways as well, I feel like there is space that's being created for you to bring in things. So I'm seeing you bringing in ideas, bringing in things that you want to implement that you couldn't implement before because survival mode was just too strong, and that's okay. So I feel moving forward, maybe consider what you want to bring to the table now. What do you want to offer? What do you want to suggest? What ideas do you have that you want to present or that you want to bring into the space that's been created? So I trust that makes sense for you, Carol. And let's see which healing energy card wants to be added here. So your best healing energy card to finish this up is this. It's this. It's card 104. It's in the action category, and it's called Conquering Fear. Conquering Fear. It says summon your courage, which we've already talked about. Keep perspective. Don't allow your insecurities to stop you from proceeding. Look at those insecurities, release them, and then proceed. I really feel this is about shifting out of that survival mode, out of that sort of fear mode, and into your courage and into your ability to rise up above the fear and above the challenge, above the war zone, if you like. So there is action in this card that you're being encouraged now to really think about taking. How can you strengthen yourself more? And I keep feeling I want to get my fists and just sort of punch them into the solar plexus. Like there feels to be a lot of power that wants to, and strength, resilience, that wants to really sort of push out here in your solar plexus. So your strength is strong. And you can use this strength to then be like that phoenix and be like a rocket and rise up above this and see what new space is created so that you can bring things into that space that you couldn't have brought through before. So I trust that resonates, Carol, and thank you so much for your support. Namaste. Okay, let's pop these cards back and see who is next. I've got 3 more people in this big bag, although it's a little bag in the scheme of things. But the next person I'm connecting with is Susan Sonsteng. Susan, please take a nice big breath and let's see what comes up for you today and what's loudest. Oops. What's loudest in your vibration as well. These are slippery cards. I really look forward to having the proper deck in my hands next year, but for now I'm very grateful that I can practice with these templates. But Susan, your best card for now is this here. Okay, it's card 76. It's in the rise category, lifting up, and it says the turning point. The turning point. Down here it says new direction. The time has come. Move out of your comfort zone. Turn things around. Make changes and contemplate your current direction. So it feels to be pointing towards a turning point happening for you now. But Susan, let's just tune in and see what is loudest in your vibration. Okay, so the first thing I'm seeing is the T junction on your life right now. And I feel you're walking somewhat cautiously or hesitantly, somewhat not eager, the opposite of eager, to this crossroad, to this T-junction. Oh, it's not even really a crossroad, is it? Because it's a T-junction. I feel almost like this road that you're walking is just about to come to its, well, kind of an end, really. But it feels like it's kind of preparing to diverge or divert itself one way or the other on this T-junction. So there is a hesitation, there is a caution. Actually, that's a really good word. A caution to get to this T-junction, because there is a sense, or perhaps a knowing, perhaps you know already, that this path that you've been walking is about to change direction somehow. It's about, part of it is about to end. It almost feels like the path is being cut off, and drop down over that path is a path that goes in the opposite sort of direction. Perpendicular, I think they call it. Maybe I should probably have looked that up. But anyway, I think it might be perpendicular. But anyway, this feels like where you're going right now. So I feel like what's really important is, again, to summon your courage, your strength to see these final steps through, these final phases, parts of your life that's getting to this, moving towards this T-junction. And I feel that I want to reassure you that there is nothing to fear as you approach this turning point, as you approach this point. And it is a point of no return, which can also, we can feel a bit resistant about, because, we might be okay with how things were traveling. We might have dreams or goals of where this path might take us, but there is this sense that something's been cut short here. Something's ending, but at the same time too, it is an opportunity to to switch your attention to a different direction in some ways. So as you approach this T-junction, I actually feel that it's actually a big corner that you're traveling. So a big corner that wants to loop around on your life's path. That actually, because it sort of feels like when you get to a T-junction, you have a choice. Do I go this way or do I go that way? And maybe there's a part of you that thinks that you have a choice, or that there is a decision that needs to be made. And perhaps you had a decision that you needed to make, but maybe you've already made the decision, because I feel that this T-junction now has changed, and now it's just a big arcing circle that's taking you down onto that path that leads to the right. And so you've already made your decision, or maybe there's not a choice here at all, that actually your path just sort of takes a turn here, and that this is okay. So the T-junction has left, and there's this big sweeping turn. As you make this turn and you round this corner on your life's path, it's a bit like a motorcycle traveling around a sharp corner, and they really lean into it. And this is what I'm feeling here, like really leaning into this corner and this bend. And it feels like it's bending back and going actually parallel with the path that you walked to get here. So it's like you walked to get here, you took this big turn, and then it's going back parallel with the path that you've just walked. But on a different level, on a different plane, in a different reality. So this is very much seems to be about your life's path here. So Susan, what I'm feeling is, if you can sort of flow and kind of lean into this turn that you're going through and that you're approaching at this time and about to go through, if you can lean into it, if you can flow with it, that's going to help you be able to stay upright as you make this turn. And you turn back in some ways back to where you came, or back to something that you used to be interested in, or back to an old path that you're revisiting or revising or taking to a new level. There is something that you're revisiting from before, is the feeling. Otherwise we wouldn't be making this big U-turn, and it sort of is a U-turn, but it's back onto another path that travels parallel. So if you can ease into this, if you can flow, if you can lean into it, I feel that this is going to be very helpful. Keep allowing your fear to drop away. And there's energy here that's shifting in your throat. So this is about your communication. You might find this tested, especially as you're taking this big sort of turn. Communication tests may come up. And you're being encouraged really to think about how clearly you are communicating with yourself. So make sure that you're really listening to how you feel and what's going on for your body, and that you're really clear with yourself, firstly, about what you want or where you're going or how you're going to deal with this, how you're going to cope with this sort of thing. But I feel like this is a good thing, because I feel like it's taking you into a direction that's going to, well, it feels higher than your path that you've been walking before. So it feels like a new reality, a new version of the path. It's not going back into the same old things. It feels like it's sort of a new level of the path, like if we were at a big intersection and we took the ramp that goes up to the road that travels above the road underneath. So it sort of feels like you're going up or going across into this sort of new level. But it feels the important thing right now is leaning into this corner and its movement for you. So I trust that makes sense, Susan. It's very interesting. Okay, the best card to add here is, to complete this, to tie this up, is this one. Okay, Susan, we have, oh, here's the disintegration card. So this came up before, it threw itself in the bag, and it's card 105. It's in the neutral category, which is center, and down here it says things falling apart to come back together again in a better and new way. Release your hold. So from what I'm feeling here, release your caution, release your resistance, release your hesitation. You're holding back to actually make this turn. If you can roll with it, I feel this is going to be better for you than actually being cautious and hesitant and just taking small steps instead of sort of riding and leaning into this corner as you go around, just like that motorcycle rider, because this is exactly how I'm seeing it's going to be really good for you to lean into, to sort of speed in, lean into as you round this corner. The glue is melting, so, and this may be part of what you feel resistant about, are the things that are changing, and the glue that has been sticking things together in your life may feel like it's melting away or crumbling at this time. It says transformation, reforming, and repairing. So this is something that's disintegrating, something that's breaking down, something that's probably crumbling in your life so that it can come back together again in a better way. So it's a bit like your old path, letting that crumble as you lean into this turn and move into a higher version of that path that is a new and better aligned path to your heart and to you. Whereas it feels like the path you've been walking that you've probably been trying to glue together or keep it sort of, band-aid, putting a band-aid over a broken leg sort of thing to try and hold it together, that is actually breaking down. And as you lean into this change point, this turning point time, then you have the opportunity to create a new and better and more aligned version of your path. So very interesting. I trust this resonates with you, Susan. And thank you so much for your support and allowing me to connect with you today. Namaste. Okay, so we have 2 more people on the list today. Before I pull the next person out, if you are watching this and you're not on the list and you would love to be next month, then please have a look on my Patreon web link, which is in the video description here at patreon.com/Temple of Balance. And at the $50 level for the month, then you will be a part of this healing event. You can just do it for the month. Some people like to come in for their birthday month. Some people like to stay for a couple of months or pop in every now and then to have this connection. Other people like to stay and have it as a regular sort of thing that they connect with. So whatever you want to do, you can stay for the month or longer, whatever works for you and whatever you're drawn to do. Please have a look if you're inspired to. So the next person on my list is Carlee Chirichiello. Please take a nice big breath, Carlee, and let's see what comes up for you today. The energy, just as I'm connecting with you, already feels like it's slowing down. So there's this feeling of sort of easing back, settling down. It's like sitting on the edge of a chair, but then just relaxing back into that sort of lounge chair. So there is this settling back, this settling down feeling. So the best card to start this connection, Carlee, is this here. And it's this, card 62. It's in the rest category. And it's called synchronistic order. Synchronistic order. And down here it says constructed, built, structure, hard work, durable and stable building, order, hindsight, looking back, stability and support, things are lining up, and the signs. So this is a very much about that synchronistic order, but it has this building element to it too, this hard work kind of energy, you know, where we're sort of, I'd imagine if we built our own home or our own structure, the hard work that goes into that building, and also the structure that's required, you know, the preparation, the plans and the structure that's required to get a building like that actually built. So that's what this card reminds me of, is the structure, the building, and also the hard work that goes into the things that you're building and the things that you're creating at this time. There feels to be like a synchronicity to what's been playing out as well. So we've got that card there. Let's tune in now, Carlee, and see what's loudest in your vibration. Okay, so what I'm feeling is... okay, so it feels like your shoulders and your arms are a plank of wood, a real thick piece of wood. Thick, old, maybe rotting a little bit in places, but it feels very weathered. This really quite thick plank, not really a plank, like a piece. There's another word for it that I can't quite think of right now, but it's a thick piece of wood. It's like a, you know, it's like a beam. It's like a, you know, a beam that might keep the roof up in a building, for example. So it's a, what do they call them? The structural piece that's holding up the ceiling or holding up the roof or holding up the wall or holding up the window or something. So it feels like a structural piece of wood, like a beam that is moving across. So it's going through your heart, your shoulders, and like your arms are outstretched here as this beam of wood, and it feels structural. So it feels like this is what you do to keep everything upright, to keep everything together, to keep everything standing. And this is what the role you play in your life, but also other people's lives, to keep things up, to keep things propped up. And it feels exhausting. It feels so exhausting to be holding up, but actually being this beam. Like holding your arms up like this for very long, it just feels exhausting. And it feels like this is this energy that's coming in where it wants you in some ways to drop that role, at least temporarily, or, you know, take a break from it so that you can sort of relax back. Because now I know why I have that relaxed back in that sort of lounge chair feeling, because this feels so tense and tight to hold. Like the pressure and the exhaustion just by keeping this in play feels quite phenomenal. So you're being encouraged, Carlee, to take a nice big breath, because this sits in your heart. It feels too like it's probably some obligation or something that you feel responsible for, and perhaps you are responsible for. So it feels a responsibility in some ways, whether it's been put onto you or you just feel that it is your responsibility. It is a pressure, and it is bringing up a lot of energy that seems to be moving underneath it. Underneath it's getting agitated, because there is energy underneath in your heart that wants to, I want to use the word shine, but it feels like it's hidden. It's like if we had a beam of wood, say as a foundation under the house, and there were seeds of grass or whatever under this beam that just itch to grow. All they want to do is grow. They've been waiting for years or whatever to sprout and to grow and to be what they were destined to be, a blade of grass or whatever. but this beam is covering that area of soil, so the seeds are not getting the light that they need to be able to germinate. They're not fulfilling their duty or their function, which is to become a blade of grass. And this is sort of what I feel is sitting underneath this beam in your heart, are these seeds that want to grow, that want to blossom, that want to shine, but the beam is kind of keeping or blocking out the sunlight. It's blocking out the life from these seeds, so they're not being able to fulfill their sort of destiny or their function. So I feel that there's something itching to come out here underneath this beam, and I feel like we just need to drop this beam. So what I feel like I want to do is just imagine pushing that beam off your shoulders, off your heart, off your arms, and the ends that you've been holding onto with your hands, pushing that off and dropping this big beam, big heavy. It feels water. It's just sodden with water too. So there's a lot of emotion that's contained in this beam. A lot of emotional responsibility is the feeling. So just dropping this down in front of you and just letting it fall. And it does fall very heavy down to the earth, where it just returns back to love. It just soaks into the earth and becomes just energy again. And oh my goodness, I can already feel the release of pressure here from this. And it's like a huge sense and sigh of relief. And now you can just sort of sit back a little bit in yourself, sit back against the back of that chair and let this energy just sort of drop a bit. Feel what it's like for your arms not to be holding up this beam, but let your shoulders drop, let your arms drop. Let your hands drop. Let your heart drop. Let it settle so it's not on edge so much or so tense. So just letting that sort of soften. And this is softening the energy also from your heart down your torso, down to your hips, which is also softening. So especially through your torso. And just taking some nice, slow, big breaths. And now the beam has gone. It's letting the sun in. So it's a bit like we've poked through the rafters, poked up through the ceiling tiles, and little beams of sunlight are coming down to your heart now. And these beams of sunlight are starting to activate these seeds that have been sitting here in your heart for a long, long time. And the conditions are now, it's raining, it's literally raining, and it's pouring down, beautiful watery rain down over your heart, washing, cleansing away, but also activating these seeds in these parts inside of you that want to grow, that want more from life. So allowing these to grow at the right time and the right speed that you need, and just holding this space now. The energy feels like it's kind of easing, settling, calm, that sort of thing. Let's grab another card here, Carlee, and see what we need to add. So the best card to add here is this here. Card 96, called Broken Heart at this point. Or I may change the title to Raw Emotion. I'm not sure yet. But for now it says Broken Heart. It's in the the depth category. And down here it says New Hope entering after a period of disappointment, loss or sadness. Yes, so these are the rays, the beams of light coming down into that place that was dark, the place that was hidden underneath that beam, if you like, which may be represented by your own broken heart or your own raw emotion, but it's the shadows, sitting here in the shadows, and the light coming in now to bring healing and hope. It says raw emotion. Everything will work out. Trust in the bigger picture. And I feel the best thing to probably focus on are these beams of light representing hope, but also especially actually your hope for this new growth, hope for this new life that you want to grow in your life, these things that you want to bring to be, or bring about or manifest in your life. So card 96, broken heart, but a mending heart. That might even be a better way to call it, better thing to call that card. I'm not really sure yet on the title, but I trust this resonates with you, Carlee, and thank you so much for your support and allowing me to connect with you today. Namaste. Okie dokie, that means lucky last person in here is Tanyalee Cosgrove. Tanya, please take a nice big breath. Let's see what comes up for you. So the first thing I'm feeling is tension, especially in your neck and maybe your shoulders. So maybe stretching through your neck, your shoulders might be really good for now. So the tension is what I'm feeling in here. So just stretch through and release that tension as best as you can. Okay, so Tanyalee, your best healing energy card for now is this here. It's this. It's card 110, our last card in the deck. 110 of 110 cards. It's called Coming Full Circle, and it's in the Rise category. And down here it says, the end of an old era, the start of a new era. So we could say the end of an old chapter, the start of a new chapter. Life goes on. Endings are also beginnings. Completion, there might be a bittersweet feeling and a message coming, and potentially a new level of love. So coming full circle, and there is this feeling that as this energy sort of comes full circle, there's this messenger in the dove or what have you that's just holding this little ticket of paper that just repeats the word love, and it's carrying love out from the end phase or the beginning phase and out into the path now. So getting ready to come or move full circle, to rotate around, to let things start, let things finish. That endings are also beginnings. I love that. Okay, Tanyalee, take a nice big breath and let's see what is loudest in your vibration here. So this release of tension, especially in the shoulders and neck, is quite strong, and a release of tension too in your face. So the energy that feels tight, but especially the muscles and the tension and the energy that feels very tight through here, even very minutely tight, even little sort of muscles in your face and things, you're being encouraged to really think about softening and stretching these tense muscles to help kind of ease or calm this energy down. And also down your arms, down to your hands, your fingertips. So you may want to also stretch through your fingers and your hands, your arms as well. Okay, so with that energy sort of loosening up, I can feel energy that's coming down from the universe above, like a beam of light, and it feels like a soft golden light, and it's coming down into your crown, and it's moving into all these delicate parts in your face, your head, your neck, your shoulders, and down your arms, your hands, your fingers, where you've just been releasing and stretching that tension, those tight muscles. They have now kind of opened up to allow this energy just to very softly come in, like little strands of energy that are filling up those muscles, those where that tension was. There is energy that's moving here at the back of your left shoulder, so just allowing a bigger energy beam, or it kind of feels elastic, this golden energy, just allowing this to move into the muscle here at the back of your left shoulder. And now this whole upper part, so shoulders, arms, head, neck, all of this is feeling nice and stretched out. And it feels more flexible somehow, more, it's like a rubber band instead of tight and stuck in before, or shortened somehow. And like it could break if you're stretching an old rubber band and it snaps. But this has now created this rubbery movement, which is interesting. Okay, so we've got that happening here. And now this golden energy, which now feels like a block of golden light that's full of like golden glitter or golden sparkly energy. This is coming to sit here in your heart. So if your heart was a bowl, if it was a bowl, a container, it's sitting here in your heart, and your heart is collecting this golden energy. This is strength coming into your heart. This is unquestionable strength, your strength of heart. And this strength of your heart that you're being reminded of is the feeling. So this is filling up the whole bowl. So front, back, sides of your heart. And your heart felt like it was empty in some ways, like it was an empty dish or an empty bowl, like all the food had been eaten, all the breakfast was gone, so there was nothing. It felt empty. It felt scraped clean, if you like. So this golden energy has come in now to replenish and strengthen and remind you of this strength of your heart. So as your heart becomes full to its capacity, it's like it has a little lip, like a spout, like a jug spout, just a small one over the front, and it now pours down into the lower parts of your body. So we're now moving down from that part, from your rib cage, and down into this sort of mushier part of the body. So it's less firm behind the rib cage, and it feels mushier somehow through here. So just below the ribs, and we're looking at now the solar plexus and your sacral chakra, and also round to your lower back, then the top of your hips as well. So this area is just filling up with this golden light, which feels very cloud-like now, like gases or clouds or smoke that is puffing out and filling up this area, like a room being filled with smoke, but it feels like golden puffs of cloud-like sort of energy. And this is moving out into all these areas of basically from your lower, below your rib cage down to your pelvis and across and around to your back as well. So this is all filling up, like this is an empty zone or an empty place that's been filled up with this cloud-like energy. And it especially is focusing around your lower back. So old emotional energy that's been shifted out through here. And the cloud-like energy of gold feels like it's just getting a bit more intense through there as it pushes out the old emotion that you've been storing there, and bringing a resolution is the feeling, a resolution, a personal resolution of this old emotion, and yeah, a resolution for you. And now allowing this just to now settle here on the top of your hips, like your hips supporting this energy, holding it in place. So now this energy wants to rush down your legs. So like your hips open up, this energy rushes down your legs like a waterfall now. So very watery and very washy. So it washes down both legs on the inside. You can feel this really quite deep in your legs as it flushes old energy out. Especially old energy that's stopping you from moving in your life. So moving forward, moving through the past, moving into the future. This movement, even activity. So action, activity energy too that you've been feeling blocked with, Tanya, is also flushing out through here. So it's like a fire hose has been turned on at the top of your hips, and your legs are being flushed out from the inside. There's a lot of energy moving on the upper parts of your thighs. So just letting that sort of push out and push down your legs, down through your knees and out the soles of your feet, where they just sort of spray out like an overflow. So all the extra's been overflowed out, and it's also carried the stuff that you've been storing in here, carrying it out and just letting it wash away and wash into the earth, where it returns just back to love, back to energy. So it feels like you've had this big purge, this big clear out from the inside here, Tanya, as you allow yourself to let go and to soothe or release the tension that you've been carrying in your muscles and in your body, to help keep you going. And especially during this period of transition, it feels like, because as an old door closes and a new door opens, this is transitional. So this shows that there is almost like you're in between things right now. So this time of cleansing feels to be important to help clear from the old, really let that old door close, so that you can allow and have the strength to open the new door that's before you. So that's the feeling here. So Tanya, let's grab a healing energy card to see what this wants to add here as we finish up. And I trust this resonates with you. So your best card to tie this up, Tanyalee, is this here. It's card 8, Emotional Healing. It's in the depth category. And down here it says, holding within the eye of the storm, keeping your center, separating the wheat from the chaff, movement, motion, emotions, listen to your feelings. So this is very much about holding in the eye of the storm. And I feel like the key here really is your continual cleansing and purging and releasing the things that are coming up at this time. And you may find this appropriate for the next few weeks as you transition out of one phase and into another, and that transitional period that's very strong. It can be very helpful to spend a lot of extra time cleansing and purging and clearing and releasing. So as you're doing that, that will help keep you in the eye of the storm while all this stuff's going on around you, and you're really working out what you want to keep and what needs to go, which is that separating the wheat from the chaff. So all the stuff going on around you, what you need to separate out, what you need to keep, what you need to sort, what you need to let go of. So this sort of purging as well feels to be important, but especially on an emotional level at this time. So I trust that makes sense for you, Tanyalee, and thank you so much for your support, and namaste. Thank you. Okay, so if you've had quite a bit of healing energy stirred during this connection today, I recommend that you drink lots of water, that you listen to your body, and that you be really kind and gentle with yourself, especially over these next few days as the energy settles. So as always, I recommend you take on board what feels right or has felt right and let the rest go. And thank you so much for allowing me to connect with you today. I will be back tomorrow actually for the Healing List event. It's planting the seeds for new beginnings for my $15 patrons. I think I've got about 47 people on the list so far. It's not too late to be added to it if you want to, so have a look on my Patreon page if you like. We'll see what the weather's like tomorrow, because I was intending it being springtime and all, to actually plant some potato seeds in my garden with your names. But it is absolutely pouring with rain, so we will see if it passes or if it stays. And if it stays, I will have to think of doing it in a different way, which could be very interesting. So we will see. We'll be guided by the weather. But I'll see you in about 23 hours from now for my Healing List event, or next month for the next personal healing event. Thanks so much for connecting, and take care of yourself. Have a great day, and I will see you next time. Namaste. Thank you.